Hi guys, David from Cruising Calypso. I am standing outside my house right now, as you can see, and I thought I would make a video about boating in an age of Corona, right? Because we are all cooped up right now inside our homes, or at least most of us are, unless you're an essential business, and want to put out there that we're so appreciative and thankful of the healthcare workers who are risking their own lives to keep us all safe and take care of those of us who unfortunately have been infected with the virus and need to be taken care of. So absolute kudos and hats off to those folks. But for the rest of us, most of us working from home and trying to get by under these very trying circumstances. So when you think about boating in this age, right now none of us aren't doing much, at least in my area, the Northeast, and outside of Boston. While spring did come somewhat early, it's still too cool right now to get out on the water. Although I have to tell you, just yesterday I did make the call and ask that Calypso be uncovered, have the shrink wrap removed, and have the boat gotten ready. So I'm going to start doing work on it. As many of you know, Calypso is currently for sale, and so I'm going to be cleaning her and getting her ready for showing once things get a little bit warmer, because our new boat, which we purchased a few days ago, which is in Maryland, will be coming up here hopefully in the next month. And that's something I also want to talk to you in this video, is sort of our planning for that trip up here. We still haven't decided when we will make the trip. We were thinking initially of making the trip up in the middle or towards the end of April, but right now we're unsure, with a lot of orders from state governors to stay at home and not to do any unnecessary travel. So we're of course honoring that, and will be safe and keep others safe. But part of that is planning for cruising, and what you can do right now when you're at home thinking about getting ready for the water. You know, I mean, I will tell you some of the things that I have been doing, which is getting things ready. If you saw my earlier video on repairing our dinghy several weeks ago, we did that to get that ready for the season. We have been going through our list of supplies, and especially now we have 2 boats we have to get ready. So mostly it's for things we need for the big boat, for the 40 Sedan Bridge, things like, you know, ordering oil filters and zincs and fuel filters, and getting whatever sort of basic supplies we're going to need. Same with the current Calypso. I ordered new zincs for the boat. Fortunately, when the boat came out of the water, fuel filters and oil filters were changed, and so she's in very good shape. She's ready to go back in the water. As I say, other than a few cosmetic things which I'll be taking care of, she is getting new forward isinglass. Unfortunately, we'll never be able to use that. A new owner will benefit from brand new isinglass on that boat. So we're very excited, because now the entire canvas enclosure has been replaced on Calypso. So really nice. It looks nice, and it's very functional. So that's a super thing. But in a moment, I want to show you some of the things that I'm pulling together for our trip down to Maryland, whenever that happens, and how I'm thinking about that trip and what's involved. One of the things that I enjoy doing during these times when I take a break from work is looking at my cruising guides, looking at the charts, and seeing what marinas are open and available, and plotting my course. So let's go inside and take a look at those things. So we're back inside now, and you may recognize this setting. This is my den, where I've done a few videos, and just for those of you who are interested you may recognize this print right here, which I use as the foreground for my opening of my videos. And I actually had that chart made to cover the cruising areas that we take Calypso. It pulls together a number of NOAA charts, which no one cover that area. But as you can see, this chart basically covers Boston, the Cape, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard, all the way down to Block Island, including Newport. And that's most of the area that we navigate. And for those of you who can see, there is a little anchors and lighthouses on some of the spots that we've gone to. You can see on the Vineyard and on Nantucket and on Block Island. And you can see our home port of Marion. So in any case, that's just a little aside. So what we have here, I wanted to show you, is some of the things I've been pulling together to help me keep me in the cruising mode and the boating mode. So, as I was mentioning earlier, these are the cruising guides that I use for navigating around my area. You can see here, I've already purchased the one for Long Island to the Cape. And here is the chart kit, which has, for those of you who use them, you're probably familiar with them. It has all the charts from the area from New York all the way up to Nantucket, and it does include parts of Cape May and New Jersey, which we'll be coming up from. The embassy guides are very helpful. I have my navigation equipment, which includes the parallel rule, my Eldridge, which, as you can see, is out of date. It's 2014. I do have a newer copy on the boat. That is the Tide book. And then I also have, slightly rumpled, something referred to as chart number 1, which is a guide to all the information and symbols on a NOAA chart. So what else am I thinking of bringing to on the boat? Well, as you can see right here, I have emergency equipment, and I have flares. I have a audible sound maker, which is a whistle, and I have a daytime flag. That is what is required on a boat of our size. Many of you may be having confronted the issue that flares, when you buy them, only have a shelf life of about 3 years, and then you have to get rid of them. I will admit that I have struggled with figuring out how to dispose of flares in a safe and meaningful way, so you don't set them off. And I've been thinking about setting them off into a trash can full of water, but now I have probably 20 or so flares in the basement, so I have to get rid of them. What I have done is I've moved on to using this item right here. This guy right here is acceptable by the Coast Guard as a nighttime flare, as a replacement for a flare. It is a battery powered, you can see it floats, it has that collar around it, and it's essentially a strobe that flashes SOS, and it's quite bright, and it is acceptable by the Coast Guard in lieu of a flare. And the only thing that has to be replaced are the batteries. So that is an item that has been very good. As I mentioned a moment ago, daytime flag that you are required to have. You unfurl that and attach that to a mast as an indication of emergency. Of course, everybody should have a good pair of binoculars. These are a pair of, I don't even know what kind they are. Oh. These are a pair of Fuji binoculars that I have. They are, in fact, somewhat stabilized, and they do have an internal compass. So those are excellent to have as well. Of course, we have our life jackets that we're bringing. In addition to the set of life jackets we have on board for guests, Sue and I also have inflatable vest style life jackets, which are far more easy to wear and far easier to, less bulky. And all these have a CO2 cartridge and an inflator, which I maintain every other year, which is the cycle for which these need to be updated. I replace the cartridge and I replace the inflator. Of course, that's another thing I have is now, as I have several of those cartridges, which I have to find a use for. And then, of course, we're going to be sending down just some basic dishware to the boat that will, for the trip back to Maryland, from Maryland, excuse me, and we'll bring that with us. Another item I just actually wanted to point out with, and this again, this is an item for which I have absolutely no relationship with the company. It is something, and I'll put it there, you know, for those who you can see. And hang on, put it against that so you can see it. This is called the Dockerini. It is an item manufactured by Surehold, the company that makes a whole line of buckets and mops and boat hooks. And this particular item right here, I have to say, is fairly brilliant. This straps on with a Velcro strap right here, you can see, to a boat hook. And when you are trying to place a loop over a piling, if you are backing in or not backing into a slip, this item holds the loop open. So one portion of the loop is on the boat hook and the other end is just hooked into this, and it keeps the loop open and allows you to reach out and grab a piling and secure it. I have to tell you, it's a simple device, but boy, does that make a difference. So we'll be sending that down as well. So as you can see, this is sort of what keeps me going during this period of being cooped up. You know, I suggest to those of you who are planning for the upcoming season, take advantage of this time, plan your routes, go through your chart guides and your charts, pick out your favorite spots, maybe pick out some new spots. And look online. There's a whole host of information available about individuals from people who have gone to different spots in your area, and it's a great time to plan for new things and new adventures. I know that's what we're doing, not the least of which is our trip up from Maryland. So we will keep you posted on the timing of that. Right now, it's day by day. It's kind of open-ended, but we'd like to get it done in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Assuming we are given some sort of a sign that we can travel, and then we will take it from there. But until then, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button and click the like button. That is a big help to me, and we'll see you next time.